Welcome everybody to the Global UAV Technologies CEO interview. It is the early part of October. We've just had a couple of really dynamic news releases that have been put out, and joining me on the phone right now is CEO Mike Burns. Mike, hello, how are you today?
Hi Trevor, doing great, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, thank you for asking. I did want to cover some questions in regards to a couple of the news releases that we've put out in the last week, which is really kind of transformed the company. I guess you could say we're not necessarily just a drone services company anymore, can you?
That's right. Well, it's a distinct difference from what we've been doing mostly up to this date. So, Global UAV is it has a strong services component, but at our heart, we are a drone technology company. And what we've released in the last few days has really shown our skills in this industry. So being able to show off some of our R&D projects as well as the results of them are really exciting for us as a company, because it really sets the stage for what value Global UAV is building in the industry, both on a reputation side, but also value for our investors. And as a company, it's a very, very exciting stage to be at in Global.
So last week we put out a news release about Global UAV's involvement in both the Southwest Innovation Cluster and the Subterranean project. I want to ask you questions about both of them. First, what exactly is the Subterranean or Sub-T project that it's known as, and why is Global UAV an integral partner in this?
That's a really good question. The Sub-T project centers around developing solutions to support subterranean warfare, as well as more domestic solutions for subterranean challenges. When you're looking at how the global population is centered today, there's a significant portion within every major center across the world, so large cities and large areas, that there's a very serious component that's underground infrastructure. When the U.S. is looking at going into different jurisdictions and looking at globally how we manage that from a combat perspective, but also from a humanitarian and from a disaster response perspective, there's a large gap where response to underground environments is very dated. So being able to bring cutting-edge technology and autonomy to help map underground environments, learn about the infrastructure in place and the dangers and the hazards and the risk to sending people down without having to put people in those scenarios is key and an extremely important step to modernizing both warfare but also humanitarian support and response in these environments. And Global UAV is really excited to be a part of a team that's looking at developing capacity in that regard.
Yeah, and just a real quick follow-up, and maybe you can put some perspective into this, Mike. So Global UAV is the sole UAV technology partner involved in this collaboration. But when you think of drones and UAVs, you're thinking above ground, up in the air, right? So what is the application of drones in underground?
So drones and underground, it's an interesting problem to solve. One of the things that we're looking at doing is being able to map the underground environment. If you think about a natural cave, a lot of cases a ground vehicle will suffice for that. But there's also a lot of scenarios where there's cave-ins or there's natural hazards, or maybe the cave is a natural cave, like what everybody saw in the news recently in Thailand. So there's lots of environments that are very dynamic, and being able to have a system that can autonomously travel and map throughout an underground tunnel environment is extremely beneficial. If you have a ground vehicle in there and there's a rock fall or obstacles on the ground that it can't get past, you're limited in what you can do. If you have a vehicle that can float through the air and map and 3D scan the entire tunnel environment, that's a game changer for the people that need that information. Okay. So that's where drones are really useful in this environment.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So I do want to ask you about the Southwest Innovation Cluster, also known as SWIC. It's a resource networking and business management entity that focuses on autonomous unmanned systems related to providers and suppliers of battle space awareness, command, control, communications, computers, all of the above. One thing that I think that really stood out was partners in SWIC also included Raytheon, Boeing, and Northrop Grumman, big major players in aerospace industry, on both a lot on the military side. But what capacity will Global UAV play in SWIC, and why is this significant for the company?
So Southwest Innovation Cluster is what's bringing the Sub-T project together in terms of bringing parties from diverse industries and diverse organizations together at the same table and looking for solutions to a problem. So Global UAV is really fortunate to be able to be a part of the Southwest Innovation Cluster. Like you said, sitting at a table with companies of this scale, first of all, it's a very lucrative position for us to be a part of that, but it also speaks to our capacity from an engineering R&D aspect and from our operational and management side as well. These are our panels and our opportunities where companies that are involved are expected to deliver, and that's what Global does. So we're really, really fortunate to be part of the Southwest Innovation Cluster. It speaks to how far we've come in the last year and a half to 2 years as a company, and what our capacity is to be able to have a seat next to these really well respected and well known large companies that have a strong defense background, but also from a technology perspective, Global UAV is bringing the drone side of technology aspect to those discussions, which is a very, very exciting opportunity for us as a company.
Well, I know there's probably a wide range of questions from our listeners and shareholders of the company. You can always direct those questions to Global UAV's 8020 Connect profile. If you haven't already, please go create a login at 8020 Connect, and you can follow us on that network. So let's do one more transition and get into this week's news, which is also an incredibly advanced technological achievement for the company, and that was the autonomous launch and landing of a drone on a moving vehicle, which is in partnership with Planck Aerosystems. The launch and landing, it was an extraordinary achievement for Global UAV. What are the applications of such technology, Mike?
One of the key things is the platform that we're using to do this with. So the single rotor helicopter has a lot of advantages in terms of its flight capability in very challenging environments. And what I mean by that is high winds, high demand environments where you need lots of speed, lots of endurance to get the mission done. That's where a helicopter platform performs very well. And the one that we've built, the Precision 800, is the top of its class in that respect. So adding this capability to it to be able to launch and recover the drone completely hands-off, literally from one button command, from a moving truck or a moving trailer to a vessel or a small boat on the ocean, it brings really outstanding capability to field teams and on the marine side to small vessels that don't have the room to launch or recover a man-sized helicopter off of. All of a sudden you have an eye in the sky for Border Patrol, for Coast Guard, for surveillance, for search and rescue, for a very diverse amount of applications and industries where there's no solution today. So it's a real game-changing capability for our systems, and Planck Aerosystems has been great to work with to get this done. They're really industry leading in what they do, so it's been a fantastic opportunity for Global to provide the system and some of the engineering expertise to make it happen, along with Planck.
So just a follow-up question, Mike. When the idea came about, can we launch the Procyon off of a moving vehicle and land it on the same moving vehicle? When that idea first came up, what was your initial thoughts? I mean, did you know that could happen? Was it just a matter of finding the right partners to make it happen? Or is it something that kind of the idea was brought to us?
Yeah, and the interesting part, and we get asked this question a bit in terms of what we're doing as an R&D company. what we're building is leading edge capacity in the industry. And we're also breaking new ground in terms of doing stuff on the 4G side and now autonomy in terms of landing, takeoff, and moving platforms. These are things that large companies aren't even doing yet. So look at Amazon, look at all the delivery companies. They're not doing launch and recoveries for moving vehicles. They're all stationary. This is where the future is at. This is where we're pushing. And as a focus to that, we are doing R&D initiatives that are bringing real market value to global UAV. This isn't something that has, downstream maybe 5-10 years of commercialization potential. This is a capacity that's in demand today. So being able to fill that gap with a really solid platform and something that performs, there's nothing else out there on the market today that does this. So it's a really exciting opportunity for us because it shows, our investments in R&D in this company are providing real results that are getting real recognition and adding real value to the company. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, and I think you really hit on my follow-up question is, all these achievements are absolutely incredible and breathtaking on so many levels. But I think a lot of people and a lot of the investors and shareholders want to know, how does this improve the bottom line of the company? And so I think you did address that in your answer. So we will very much look forward to what is coming down next in the pipeline with Global UAV. So is there anything else you wanted to add, Mike?
I think that sums it up for now. We're busy, and stay tuned for lots of more exciting developments. If you think this was pretty positive news, then you'll like to see what we have coming down the pipes in the future.
Well, in that case, I look forward to our next conversation. So, all right, thanks, Mike. Have yourself a great day, and we'll chat soon.
The same to you. Bye-bye.